Ben Alexander here with the charge. Here is my Powerpack 400 from Bosch. Really lovely thing, and I suppose this is kind of quite a standard battery for an e-bike. Really well made, really well made. So I've sort of opened it up, and then I thought I'll make a video on this. Basically, to get in is quite easy. There are 4 screws you need to do, or 6. 1, 2, 3, 4 there, and then on the bottom there are just 2 there. 1, 2, and then you get in through the sides. So this is the mechanism that holds it together. I hope you can see that. Get a screwdriver and push it into the sides, and then go like that, and try and do it around these spots here, and you'll hear it make a crack every time. And I broke one, but the others came off fine. It's not really made to come apart and go back together a lot of times, but it is well done. So inside, there it is. I'm glad to see on this Bosch thing, instead of the drill batteries, the ones I've seen at least anyway, I'm glad to see this does have battery management on it, proper battery management with balancing, because the drills don't. The ones that I have, I think they're 2.5 amp hour batteries. None of them have balancing, which is sad, but it does have a voltage system going on, so operating window voltage. So this, I actually went around the cells and I just did a voltage check, and I was just going to write on there which ones needed to be topped up, because after a very quick check beforehand, I thought actually these could be just charged up individually on this particular project. But turns out probably half of them are under voltage massively, so I'll just do a full rebuild. We'll take it off and talk about how it's made and the quality on this, and how you could improve it. So it's really easy to turn this into a 500 watt hour battery instead of 400 if you wanted to. It's pretty basic stuff. What I can see is this is made to be watertight, and they've done a fairly decent job of that. It's not the best, but it is pretty good. For sure, when you're putting it back together, just use a little bit of RTV sealant. That will help. Just make sure that it is all stuck together and sealed. I don't see any air gaps in the batteries in between the cells, so there's a lot of compounding of heat. So if one cell gets hot, the one next to it also gets hot from the heat from that, but also from the heat that it's producing itself, which is not really a good thing. But I can see they've clearly tried to make this small and compact, and it is, and it's really beautifully well done. I'd probably say this is almost a perfect battery pack for a consumer bike, I'd say. Pretty basic. You could take it apart quite easy. Pretty nice. So the voltage, I checked the voltage. When you plug it in to charge, nothing would happen. It was dead. And I took it off, and I took the top off here, and the battery pack at its final output is 10 volts. That is it. And some of them are 3.2, 3.3, 3.2, 2.9. Those ones can be charged back up, and they're probably fine. Not really much damage done to them. However, these ones here, I'm probably going to have to try and bring some back to life, see what I can do, and if the condition of them is not it's not good enough, then I will have to find a good replacement, which I've got a lot. I've got a good stock of batteries. But on my last project, I used 75 of my best cells to make my push bike battery, my other one. So this is good. So I'll just not talk anymore, and I'll just get into it, and occasionally I'll let you know where we're at. Pretty easy stuff, pretty straightforward. So let's take it to pieces. The quality of materials is good. I like it. I can see that they've made, done a good job of this. It's nice. If you did want to, I don't recommend it, but if you did want to, at this point, you could either put a bigger resistor in here, or just blob some solder on that. That would be the shunt resistor, and that would mean that the battery can put a little bit more power out than standard. Yeah, it's really well made. Right, where we're at is I've built the battery back up with the batteries in the correct orientation, just using some photographs of the battery before. All the battery cells are roughly the same, however I didn't do a full charge and test on each one and then put them into a website which will be linked below, and then it will tell you which cells go in which larger cell to make a perfectly balanced battery. So it won't be a perfectly balanced battery, but it will work, it will do fine. If you've got a Dremel, or something like a Dremel like I have, just nip the spot welds off, just sand them off. Just gently grind them off. You don't need to really get rid of them like this. Just sort of take the top off them to make them a bit flush. And then when you spot weld them, it will look pretty neat. And it'll also just be a lot easier. So I've done the other side. The other side is done. I just need to do the other side now. There we go. That's one side. My spot welder, actually, it's a chip, like a chipboard one. And I put a heatsink on top and a little fan. And I connect it to thick cables to my batteries here. It's not the most powerful, really. There's also a lot of energy wasted making these cables very, very hot, so they're almost too hot to touch. But so I have to do, 10 spot welds in each one, and that will be reliable. I can ride that, and it won't break at all. But ordinarily you should just do 4 or 6 if they're really good spot welds. There we go. I'll show you when it's all back together. Okay, it's all put back together, and what I've done is you make sure the plugs with the battery balancing cables are unplugged, so they're just cables. You make sure and double and triple check that you've soldered the cables to the correct parts of the battery on both sides, and then before you connect the main positive and negative to the BMS, you plug the balance wires in, which is the first connection into the battery management board, is the balance cables, and then you solder the negative and positive, the main ones. And now, this is the first time I've done this. Yeah, so I can see there's some battery charge in this, and it does have some life. So what I'll do, spend a couple of minutes, plug this back into the box, wrap it all up, and then I'll film it as I put it into the bag. The battery, the bike has been completely dead since I bought it, and the dials and screens and stuff, just no life at all. So this is the first thing on the bike that has some life in it now. That should be good. And then I will charge it. Okay, so nothing works, literally nothing on the screen. Right, and I did on purpose, I didn't put the top of the case on, so as it's balancing I can just sort of see where the voltages are at. But I'll unplug the charger actually. Right, so charger's not in. Might need 2 hands for this. Right, they're ready. Oh, we've got light. How does this work? Oh, right, so that's in. And has stuff on there. Oh, brilliant. So now it apparently works. Good. Right, I've just plugged it in charge. There we go, charging. And it's actually a quicker charger than I thought. It's 4 amp. This one, so 180 watts. And we'll check it when it's full. Thanks for watching, everyone. And please like the video if you enjoyed it.